Chapter 231. The Verdict. As I sat down in the courtroom, it was apparent from the jurors' mannerism that their verdict wasn't in my orbit. Only the Asian forewoman would look at me. The rest just stared at the Bin Laden portrait. The judge spoke. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a unanimous verdict?" The Asian lady spoke. "Yes, Your Honor, we have." My lawyer touched my leg for reassurance and then knocked on the table like a woodchuck. She admired my endurance, looked straight in my face, smiled, and then crossed her fingers for good luck. I lay back in the chair and prepared for the current. Whatever decision I inherit, I was cool with it. If I won, I would sue the pigs, fight to get my money back, then probably take a trip to foreign. If I lose, I would appeal this surreal ordeal, and I believed I had a great chance for my case to be repealed, though I knew every sentence wouldn't be ran concurrent. No matter what was found, no matter what was recovered, no matter what was said or what was did, the fact remains that what they did was abhorrent. No matter how much the court sided with law enforcement, no matter my background or reputation, the fact remains they didn't have a warrant. The fact remains that even if they had torrents of informants, the warrant requirement in the Constitution was more important. The Constitution was the parent, and it was written to keep the government from running errant. Though there were still haters, perpetrators, and traitors, and treated their own citizens as peasants. The judge asked the court to rise. We stood up and I watched these devils. The forewoman passed the judge the verdict on paper. Ouch. Guilty on all counts. Guilty of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Guilty of being a violent felon in possession of body armor. Guilty of possession with intent to distribute ecstasy, and guilty of use of a firearm in connection with drug trafficking. Because they were all found at the same location, all of the guns were considered as one charge instead of 3 separate charges. I was facing 16 years and 4 months at sentencing, 197 months, instead of the 60 years that I thought. This was less than the first plea bargain they offered, which was 20, and the same amount of their second offering, 16. But the prosecutors felt that my case fit the category of extreme circumstances, and immediately asked the judge to consider going outside of the guidelines. They then recommended a 30-year sentence. I knew that was their plan all along. That's why I didn't plead guilty. The first judge that thought I was going to plead guilty also knew, and that was his plan also. And when it failed, he withdrew from the case. He wanted me to waive all of my rights with the guilty plea to 10 years, and then they would have classified me as extreme and gave me 30. Just like the Asian dude in the holding cells. Now I was wondering, did my lawyer know this all along? Also. Chapter 232. Plot. The next day, a beautiful female officer at the jail came to my cell to express her condolences. She read about the verdict in the newspaper. She worked in the cell block and we spoke on occasions, but I could tell she was showing interest. My cellie was in love with her though. All he talked about was whenever he got released, he was coming back up to jail to get her and he would marry her and give her the world. I asked him why. Why would you do that? You don't even know her. You might hate her when you get to know her, or she might hate you. He said, nah. He could tell what type of woman she was just by the way she looked at him. I shook my head. Jail made men lose their minds daily. She had no interest in dude, but she actually had interest in me. That was irrefutable. indisputable. My mind was strong. Unlike my celly, it wasn't institutional. I had to be clear because my being here was unconstitutional. She used to call on the cell intercom to ask how I was doing every day. Wasn't unusual, but as usual, she would always wait until he left out of the cell. I once told her that my celly was in love with her. She laughed and said he's delusional. The day she came to my cell to offer her condolences on the unjust verdict, she also brought a cell phone and a phone number to call. The number was to a homie's burnout phone. She said I had 20 minutes to use the phone and then she would return to collect it. Make sure your celly don't see it. You ain't gotta worry about that. It's a trip. I love the way she licked her lips. She walked off with a little twists in her hips cause I'm watching. Yeah, I'ma hit that when I get out. In a jiffy, hope she not picky and just be happy with a quickie. I placed a piece of paper in the window to the cell door to indicate I was using the toilet and so my cellmate wouldn't walk in. I made the call. What's up, Slim? How you holding up? What's up, family? I'm good. A small setback. Man, look, he said, I got a hell of a move. A few of my homies had proposed an escape plan. They already had it mapped out. They told me exactly how it would go down. A few people would probably be killed in the adventure, but I was guaranteed freedom. All I had to do on my part was to secure my disappearance from America and the Caribbean. They had links across the country and a few of the islands, but I needed to get further, even further than my brother did. Somewhere that didn't have an extradition treaty with America or Europe. Somewhere where the people looked like me so blending in wouldn't be hard. Somewhere where the people would accept me. I had a few places in mind already. My worldwide connections were vast. The plan they proposed sounded wonderful, but I needed some time to brainstorm. I didn't need to move off of emotions or revenge. That would only make it worse. I needed to think. She came back in exactly 20 minutes and collected the phone. She gave my body a quick glance up and down, stopped at my crotch for a second, then back to my eyes. I hope to see you when you come home. I smiled. You definitely will. But as of now, I don't have any idea when that will be. You know, I just lost my case. Yeah, I saw it in the paper. It made me sad. It made me want to just break you out and take you home with me. That would be nice. Would it? She's staring in my eyes again. This girl was a beauty. The bomb. I wanted to bust and keep that booty warm. All up in that cutie's palm. Bust all over her uniform. You got a card in the mail yesterday, didn't you? Thought about it. Yeah, I did. But it didn't have a return address. It didn't. But it has a phone number in it. Make sure you call it when you get out. Because I know you're going to get out. Real soon, too. I can feel it. She then touched my hand and walked off. I watched her walk down the tear as I paced the cell, thinking about her soft touch for a second. Then I went directly to think about the phone call to the homie. He was fucking her sister. And when she told him she was working in the cell block I was housed in, he immediately asked, "What's allowed in?" She said nothing. It's astounding, but I can do what I need to do if you need me to do something. He immediately gave her a burn phone to pass to me. She also brought me shots of Henny, and later on she gave me a pair of her sweet-smelling panties. I stashed it in my pillowcase. The next morning I had to throw it away though, because I didn't want to get caught with it, plus my celly stayed up all night acting like a weirdo, acting like a rookie, talking about how he kept smelling the sweet smell of pussy. Dog, you down there dreaming about models. I thought you was Pentecostal, deep into the gospel and the apostles. Must be them hard drugs and got into your nostrils. My nigga, you may just need to see the doctor. He laughed and said that was preposterous. He didn't even know that the girl he was fantasizing about with that 10 face and that 10 body, silk panties was sitting in my pillowcase. I would never hip him. For one, he wasn't no gangster, so he might get to tripping. So many good men turn the bitches over women, turn the snitches over women, and get their ass killed over women. Get their ass filled up with venom, sent up to heaven, body all bent up like denim. I thought about the ones assisting my freedom would also be risking their lives, and the ones that would be killed were civilians paying bills. They weren't responsible for my incarceration. It was my mistake, along with the crooked cops. I had to take the punishment for my flaws. The escape plan would put too many others in jeopardy. I wasn't facing letters, I was only facing numbers. Even though these suckers was now asking for 30, this case was murky. My appeal was lurking. I got confidence this case gonna get overturned. Fuck the Fourth Circuit. I wrestled with the idea for a few days, then chose against it. I told the officer to tell the homie, I said no. She smiled and said okay, but she had the slightest idea what no actually meant. I flirted with her a little, but not enough to alert the lurkers. In jail, it's always a pervert somewhere lurking and stalking the broads, somewhere watching her hard, somewhere peeking out the cell and probably jerking off. She signaled for me to go to my cell. My cellie was on a visit. She would call on the intercom and get me hard and listen to me jerk on my widget. I said, nah, we could do that when I touch down, whenever that is. Hopefully soon, whenever that is.